Okay, well let's move on to fixed annuities. You want to take that for a minute and run with it?
Well, the most common question when I talk to somebody about a fixed annuity, they immediately think of a CD. They think it's the same style as a CD where you're going to put a fixed dollars amount in, and then you're going to get that same interest rate for a 5-year period, 6-year period, 3-year period. Whatever that period is, they're going to get that same interest rate. Now, there are annuities that exist in that form.
Right.
They're MIGAs, which is another fancy. We're getting in the
multi-year guarantee annuity.
Yeah, MIGA. So there's your tip of the day. The MIGA is the CD style. When you see those two words exchanged interchangeably.
Yeah, CD style. Right. MIGA.
So that's what most people think of when you hear fixed annuity. Well, a fixed annuity does not necessarily means same interest rate for every year.
Right.
They can have bonuses. They can have minimum guarantees. But basically what the fixed annuity would exemplify is that you're going to get a fixed return for a stated period.
Right. And one of the ways that I think that I want to mention here it's probably a strong point of the fixed annuity is the safety of the fixed annuity. Because when you're looking at a fixed annuity, the idea of a fixed annuity is that the company actually takes all the risk. So the opposite, Eric, of the variable annuity, where the client is taking on all the risk. So the downside, though, of the fixed annuity or the CD style annuity that we're talking about is that it typically has a lower earnings potential overall. Now, that's not true for all fixed annuities. I mean, we're going to talk about some in a little bit here that have much higher earning potential. But just a standard fixed annuity would be a little more limited on the interest that it's paid.
Correct.
It pays out.
Usually a little bit higher than a CD, but again, you're talking it's in that same secure family kind of. Now it's not doesn't have the claims paying or the backing of
the FDIC,
right? Which is one of the things that we want to spit out there.
Right.
Make sure everybody understands that that's not one of the pieces that comes with an annuity.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that the insurance company
is a good, solid company.
Right.
Very, very highly rated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's the insurance company's claims paying ability which you want to make that decision on if you're going to make that choice.
Right. And it should be noted that in the annuity realm that it's been considered extremely safe. Fixed annuities have, and they've got an excellent history of being there and paying out with hardly any exceptions to that rule. So although we don't want to compare it with FDIC because that is the backing of the federal government, the history overall of the fixed annuity has just been excellent, so it is considered a very safe investment. And you can always look at the third-party ratings to make sure that you're dealing with a really strong company in the beginning. And one thing, Eric, that I like about the third-party ratings is that you can watch these year by year, and you can see if they're going in the wrong direction. You've got plenty of time to make a decision as a rule. Because of the third-party ratings, so it's not something that we see those ratings like changing like overnight. I mean, they might go a little bit one way or the other, but usually there's a period of time. You start with a very high-rated company, you've got some time to watch that company if there's ever an issue.
Right. Yeah, kind of pulling back to the fixed aspect of it, but yes, the ratings are what you can kind of keep an eye on to keep yourself in line, and then it's again risk and reward. You've got a much more safe box around a fixed annuity, but you're accepting a lower return. So, and then when it's the 31 flavors again here. When we start talking fixed annuities, we have to decide what kind of sprinkles and what kind of
what kind of things we want to add into that fixed annuity, which can make it a better overall retirement product.
Right. Yeah.
So
I would say from a standpoint, fixed annuities are usually the base from which most other annuities now are considered. This is where you start here with the base product of a fixed annuity, and then you're going to add pieces on most of the time to make it fit your situation.
And similarly, I think we would have to say, going back to the slide before and what we were talking about on variable annuities, that variable annuities, there's several pieces that are added into the variable annuity, and what I'd like to have you understand at this point is that there's really two primary types of annuity that you really want to get firmly in your mind. One is variable, where you take the risk, and the other would be the fixed annuity, where the company takes the risk, and then the risk on the principal, investment risk. So, and in fact, I think we got a slide up here we can throw up that kind of, re-emphasizes that. And once you actually understand that there's really two primary annuities, a fixed annuity and a variable annuity, and then there's all kinds of variations of each, it helps you to know, which annuity maybe works out better for you.